has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, hour two, we're going to go right away to Edmonton, Ferrall, Alberta, and hook up with Elvis. Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period NHL radio on Sirius XM. He's at the Stanley Cup final. Where else would he be? Denny, I think they outshot him 24-8 in the third and overtime, the Oilers over Florida. They've never seen that happen to them in the last 3 years in a third period or an overtime where, I mean, the Oilers dominated and shot the puck left and right like crazy, and inevitably you're going to put one in and win it, and they did. Not only are they not used to that, they're not used to, blowing 3-1 leads or blowing games that they lead after two periods.
Yeah, it's a weird game, Scotty. The second goal by Arvidsson was a bad goal. Slop shot from 47 feet by Victor Arvidsson. Yeah, it was a 92-mile-an-hour shot, but he has to stop that. And then trying to protect the lead. You mentioned 17-2 in the third period, 24-8 overall. And Scotty, the other thing is, they usually bully teams, the Florida Panthers. Well, you know what? They got just as big a bully they're playing this time around. You watch Corey Perry go to the net. You watch Evander Kane go to the net. So it was a surprising outcome because did the Panthers not learn anything from watching the Kings series about you can't sit back against the Oilers with a lead? They were aggressive. They had their forecheck for two periods, and they stopped forechecking in the second half of the game, Scotty. I didn't understand it. You got to get two guys in deep. You got to pressure their defense. They stopped doing that to try to protect a one-goal lead against this team. It doesn't work. You got to be aggressive. If you lose the game because you're too aggressive, I could live with that. They were passive. They lost, and now they're in a 1-0 hole.
So Verhaeghe said something interesting that I caught when he said, we learn more from adversity than we do from losing.
Yeah, and they have some adversity now, right? Because here's the thing, Scotty, if they lose tonight, this is not the Maple Leafs. Like, the Panthers, if they lose tonight, they'll tell you, oh, we were down in the series 2-0 earlier. No, this is a different team, Scotty. This is Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard and Skinner playing well. So, yeah, the Panthers, look, I give them a full shot to win tonight. Like, this is still a close series. But if you go down 2-0, you're going to beat this team 4 out of 5. That's 13-2 in their last 15 games. I don't see it. It's not Game 7, Scotty. It's Game 6.5 for the Florida Panthers. They got to win this game.
So, what are the Oilers, 7-1 in that building in the playoffs? Is that about right?
I think they're 9-1. Yeah, there's something. Yeah, they've lost one game in the playoffs here. Yeah, and that was with 0.4 seconds left in the game. Remember that miracle shot in the Dallas series, I think, or in the Vegas series. But yeah, they're just feeling it right now. And here's the difference, Scotty. Last year they were happy to. This year they expect to win. That's the organization, the team, and the fans. The expectation is much higher, and they've been playing great. Like you can't really point and say what's the weakness for this team right now. If they get behind in games, they'll put Connor and Leon on the same line. You have to defend two all-world guys. That's really difficult. This team is clicking on all cylinders right now as we get to Game 2.
So they're 4-0 in overtimes in the playoffs this year. It's just unbelievable. And I got to tell you, like, this guy, McDavid, is on another planet, right? I thought his pass to Draisaitl over to Stika Barkov was brilliant. I thought his pass on the equalizer was brilliant. I just think he's just from another planet.
He is. And if they win, he's going to win the Conn Smythe back-to-back seasons. Now, if they lose, somebody in Florida, either Bobrovsky or Sam Bennett, who's been 12 goals. I never expected 12 goals in the playoffs from Sam Bennett. But Connor's on another level. Like, look, here's the thing. I voted for Leon Draisaitl for the MVP this year. Like, he's probably going to win it. Maybe Kucherov. The best player in the game is Connor McDavid. And for what you just said, those two plays, you see why he is. Some nights, the vision, the speed, how he can execute. He executes stuff at high speed, at a speed I've never seen before. So this is a unique player. And if you're a casual fan and don't watch the NHL, watch tonight. This guy's incredible.
So Draisaitl talks about how easy it is to do what he does because of Connor. He's like, this guy makes my life so easy. I thought his shots in the low slot, both of them between the circles, were relatively just normal, bang bang plays for him. He's a pro sniper, and you're going to give him tape jobs like that? I
No,
mean, this guy's
you're done.
lethal.
Yeah, and they call him the burger flipper because if you look at his stick, he's got that really long bottom of his stick. Usually it's a couple inches. This guy, when he gets the puck on his stick, Scotty, and it's usually a delivery from Connor McDavid on the power play, you're done. They're already celebrating. You're going back to the center ice for a faceoff. It's almost unstoppable, and now and you can't take a penalty in overtime. Scotty, I was here obviously for game one. When that puck went over the glass, when Nosek shot it over the glass, I said to my guys from Sirius XM, I go, the game's over. It's over.
Yeah.
And it was. You can't take penalties in regulation. Certainly can't do it in overtime. And you mentioned Connor to Leon. It's almost unstoppable at this point.
So you and I have been talking about hockey for a long time. I've been on this team since day one, the start of the season, that they would go back and win the Stanley Cup after they climbed back from 3-0 and lost 2-1 in a Game 7 on the road, where it could have easily been them 2-1. I've been on them nonstop. But tonight, I'm going to take the risk. I bet them at 110, the Panthers, to answer and make this thing an incredible 7-game series. Like, again, an incredible series. I don't want to see 3-0 leads. I don't want to see 3-3. And then I want to see ping pong, like Carver High said, back and forth. A series that goes, all right, you beat us, we beat you. We'll see you for game 3 in Sunrise. I'm on the Oilers to win the Cup. Always have been. But I think tonight the Panthers respond because they had a 3-1 lead. I never see them blow leads like that. And I think if they play like they did the other night, they win.
You can't get comfortable against the Oilers. You got to keep pressing the issue. You can't hang back, Scotty. I agree with it. And people, when you look at last year, you say, okay, 7-game series, a lot of drama. There wasn't a lot of drama. We didn't get drama until game 6. When Edmonton won game 6 and went back to Florida for game 7, we got drama. And you're right. I want back and forth too. And there's not much that separates these teams. So much as I want to compliment the Oilers and criticize the Panthers for game 1, it was a 4-3 overtime game. There isn't much separating. Marchand had a great game. He got a power play goal. Can they win here? Yeah, they won last year here. They won a game here. So yeah, I want it. I think everybody wants it. And again, there's not much separating these teams. So could we see 7 drama-filled games? I think we still can.
All right, before I ask you about what it's like being at the finals this year again, I want to ask you about DeBoer because he threw his I asked this of Gabe earlier. He threw his player under the bus and then drove over his head with both axles with Ottinger. I said when he had that presser that night, I said, this guy's getting fired for this. And he sure did get fired. I'm surprised he lasted till today. Your thoughts on that, and what's it like for you to always be at the Stanley Cup Finals living large?
Okay, with DeBoer and Ottinger. Now, here's the thing. Remember that image of Ottinger leaning over the bench and Ray Ferraro's next to him and the look on his face there after he got pulled? Right. But here's the thing. It wasn't the beginning of that symphony. It was the final note because I heard after game 1, the game they won, DeBoer went in the room and ripped his team. So there was already strife in that series, Scotty. There was strife already. And he's a tough guy. He's tough on his teammates. And here's the thing. It's a players' league now. And so what happened? They took their time. Jim Nill and probably ownership talked to the players. After the meetings, they decided to move on to Pete Door because he fractured the room. They couldn't win with him. They still have a great team. So that's it. So kind of the final note in the symphony. Living large in Edmonton. Here's the thing, Scotty. When you're a hockey reporter in Edmonton, you never pay for a drink. I can walk into any bar, say, I'm on with Scotty Ferrall, I'm on Sirius XM, and they always want to buy me a drink.
Now, listen, is it Calgary or is it Edmonton where they say you see your dog run away for 3 days?
I think it's Edmonton.
I think it is. Okay.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, and saying basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career is he's washed.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Mafia just told me in the break to stop telling stories about the many fistfights I've been in since I've been at SportsGrid with people that we don't know on the streets of other cities. Said it's not good for community relations or company PR. So he said, don't mention it on the air at all, which I just did, which makes him mad. And he's yelling in my ear right now, and I'm not listening to a word he's saying to me. It's often the case. Anyway, Mark Dagnall, you got some action from him after that bend-over special last night?
Yeah, of course we are going to now move on to Game 2, and the Oklahoma City Thunder head coach Mark Dagnall has done that as well. Here he is.
Yeah, I mean, the playoffs take you to the limit, and they put your back against the wall in games, in series. If you make it this far, you have to endure to do that, and it gives you rich experiences that you can draw on. So the biggest experience we've had is understanding that every game's a new game. The most important game in the series is always the next one, regardless of the outcome. We would have liked to win tonight, but tonight was a starting point, not an end point. There's a lot of things we can improve on. There's a lot of things I'm sure Indiana thinks they can improve on, and now the series starts to evolve. So would have liked to get the game, but need to be a better team in Game 2.
Yeah, I think, when I saw 11.5, the first thing I thought was, they're going to spank them. Because it's like when Denver beat them, they're going to spank them because it's going to be 1-1 going to, Indianapolis. I think, look, the Pacers did their job. They just stole home court. They're going home 1-1 at worst. So inevitably they're happy. And for the Thunder, it is on. You have to absolutely win on Sunday night, and I mean convincingly. None of this down to the wire stuff. I think that's why it's 11.5. I think they're going to come out and they're going to do what they do, and they're going to succeed. I will keel over if they lose another game at home here in Game 2. I just can't believe it. Like, when I saw the shot last night, I said this to you earlier, like, I really mean it. It was not a hard shot. I guess in the moment of an NBA Finals, in a Game 1 of a Finals, it's a stressful shot. But I got to be honest with you, that's an easy shot on the wing for a pro shooter. I make that shot. That's an easy shot. It's like, what is it, a 20-foot wing shot? I shoot hundreds of those a week. It's just not that big of a deal. This guy shoots 30-footers and he rainbows them in. Have you ever seen how high he shoots his three ball? He chucks it from his waist up into the air. That shot last night to win that game, to me, was easy. It was an easy shot.
Yeah, he kind of did that little move where he moved up and moved back to get the defender off him and just kind of popped it from just outside the elbow. So, I'm with you. I don't think it was an overly challenging shot for him in that spot. You mentioned 11.5. It's kind of where it opened last night. There's a few places at flat 11. I even saw a couple shops with 10.5, but 11.5 is where we're at. 227.5 for the total. Remember, this is Sunday night, just after 8 o'clock East, game number 2. I am going to lean to the side of Scotty that the Thunder, I don't know if they're going to do what they did to Denver. I don't think they're going to win by 40 points, but I think that they'll cover this 11.5.
Yeah, I think they'll win by 20.
Yeah, and then you got yourself a nice 5-game series going back to Indiana, which I don't think many people expected when this series started. So
and believe me, the Thunder are very capable of winning in your building. They are not afraid. But look, their problems have been on the road, not at home. It's been on the road that they haven't. They can win what they win by 2. In the last round, they can win. They don't cover on the road. So if you can get a fat number, I want to see, my guess will be the Thunder will be favored in Game 3 in Indy, right? They're the big favorites. If they're so great, right, they'll be favored over the Pacers in Game 3.
If you think about it, you go back to the Minnesota and the Denver series for Oklahoma City. When they were in this 9, 10, 11-point home favorite range,
right,
when they'd go on the road for Game 3, I remember in Denver it was 5.5 or 4.5, maybe 4.5. They were road favorites, and I think in Minnesota it was 3.5 or 4.5. So they're going to be favored Game 3 in Indiana. When's that game? In about a week and a half?
Yeah, but I hit the T-Wolves in that third game. It was the fourth game they got their ass beat.
Well, right. Now remember, they have not been good at covering on the road. The Thunder, right. They have won on the road, but they have not covered these numbers in the meantime. So these numbers that have been, you always say it's a danger zone, that 4 to 6 points, they haven't been covering those when they hit the streets. But we got to get through Sunday night first because then what do they not play again until Wednesday? So they'll play Sunday night and then they won't play Game 3 in Indiana.
What could be worse than that? Honestly.
I don't understand. I get the 2 days during the travel. I understand. You don't need 2 days when you're in the same site. When you're in the same site, there's no reason you need to wait.
I lose interest in it.
Well, they just want to stretch it out for so long. It just ends up being so painful when they go and do that.
What are the series odds now?
You saw it. He flashed them up before. It's now minus 330 for the Thunder. So from 750 down to 330, still a considerable favorite over Indiana to win this series, but they slashed a little off.
Well, I got to tell you, that's initially my first reaction is a little surprising. I'm a little surprised after they lost that they're still that heavy, to be honest with you. So they're just no one. So everyone thinks it's so crazy that they lost, they're this unbeatable team. They were about as unbeatable as that loss last night.
They certainly were. We'll come back. I have just a couple of straggler NBA stories for you, including the Knicks are going to be knocking on some doors of some teams for current head coaches, it sounds like. Maybe they're going to knock. I don't know if they're going to answer, but it sounds like they're going to knock on doors for some current head coaches to replace Tom Thibodeau.
They're definitely going after Kidd.
no one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8 seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if they go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So, you're, telling me the Knicks are going to talk to all these coaches. The first one up, I guess, that they're trying to talk to is Jason Kidd.
Well, it sounds like they want to talk to Jason Kidd. So, of course, Jason Kidd is the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. The Knicks are going to request permission to interview him. Now, there's been talk Ime Udoka also, but apparently the Rockets have no interest whatsoever in even entertaining anything of that. I even saw Chris Finch, who's the Timberwolves head coach, as you know, be mentioned as a name that they might want to pursue. Interesting, I guess. They're going to go and try to steal a coach from somewhere else. That's the plan.
Well, I got to tell you, I think it's a little bizarre how the whole thing is unfolded. I think that the stories are coming out more and more that they were planning this for a long time to get rid of Thibodeau. They were talking about it allegedly months ago that they were going to get rid of this guy. And then the playoffs unfolded. They go to the Eastern Conference Finals. They lose. Then they fire him. So when we initially talked about this guy getting fired, we talked about how they had to have a plan to, initiate that they had something in mind. Why would you fire this guy who, let's just face facts, you can hate him all you want. You can say bad things about him all you want. His rotations, I've heard all this nonsense. His handling of his bench guys, his handling of Brunson's minutes. I have heard every pathetic excuse for why they fired Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau has been in the league with 3 teams. He's won 57% of his games. I don't know how many times I've told you this. In Vegas, as a bettor at 53, you're making money. At 57, you're like a rock star. 57% winning in the NBA is extraordinary. A lot of guys coach their entire careers, and they don't go near 50% wins. It's hard to do. This guy wins, and they fired him. And they have no plan in place. They have no coach. They're now talking about Chris effing Finch. Like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, what is next? Now, Coach came on here and said Johnny Bryant was getting a job. That was a few days ago. Where's all that now? I hope coach is right. I hope Johnny gets the job. That'd be great. Some guy no one's ever heard of. Okay? And now you're telling me Duca wants no part of it because the Rockets aren't stupid. He's a great coach. Why would you let him go? And in fact, while I'm at it, why would Dallas be so stupid to let Jason Kidd go? They've already had enough problems, haven't they? Now you got Cooper Flagg, and you're going to let Jason Kidd go? So who's going to be the coach down in Dallas? Here, let's just let our coach leave and go to the Knicks, and we'll help them out, and then we'll be left at the altar naked. None of this makes sense to me. I'll ask Mitch Lawrence about it when he comes on, but none of it makes sense to me. Now, I don't care what anybody thinks of Tom Thibodeau. All I know is all they did was go to the playoffs and go on deep runs, and they've never done that, and you just fired a guy that did it. All they did was go on deeper runs every year. Second round twice, Eastern Conference Finals this year, you lose in 6 games, and now all of a sudden you suck, and you're a horrible coach? I think the problem with the Knicks is that effing Leon Rose guy who never does interviews. He's the effing problem. You know what? If you're so effing smart, why don't you have 12 guys on the team that can play basketball? You have like 7. You got 7 guys that can ball. You don't even have 9. You have 7. So it's your fault, asshat.
He would be the guy responsible for that. He needs to make sure that they have enough guys who can play. You sent me this one too. Bridges is eligible for 4 years, $156 million extension this summer. You want to give him all that money? Now, that's like a going rate for like a middle of the road NBA player nowadays.
That is like the blue light special, Mike.
That's like a middle. That's like the 6th guy on the bench gets $156 million.
That's a deal I'm just gonna sink my teeth into immediately for what he brings them. That he's worth that because they got no one else that score like he does. Whatever.
No.
And you know what else about him? He plays every night.
Yeah, most guys don't do that. They don't play every night. Adam Silver says the NBA expansion is not automatic. It'll be on the agenda at the owners' meetings. They're going to get plenty of money. It's going to be automatic. They like money, so they're going to get their expansion teams.
Who cares?
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We always love talking to Mitch Lawrence from NBA Radio on Sirius XM on Coast to Coast down in Dallas. First of all, I want to ask you, we'll kind of go backwards. Why would Dallas let Jason Kidd leave to go to the Knicks when they're getting Cooper Flagg? Is he not a good coach? Like, why would you let him go? Why would Udoka? If I were Houston and Dallas, I'd be like, mind your own business. Stay out of our business. I'm not letting either one of them leave. I don't understand the Knicks at all firing this guy for 1 second. All he did was win. And then what? He's too tough. He doesn't handle rotations right. His bench guys. How about Leon effing Rose never gave him a bench?
Right. Make all those good points. I would think Jason Kidd would think too. Now he's been in the Garden. He knows what it's all about. He played there. Leon Rose talked to him before he hired Thibodeau. So there's a connection there. But why the Mavericks? I don't know if the Mavericks are ready to let Jason Kidd walk. And of course, they're just not going to let him walk. There has to be compensation since he's under contract, right? Any of these coaches that they're talking about, Chris Finch, Ime Udoka, who the Rockets are not allowing, he's not going anywhere. But if you have a situation with a coach under contract, he isn't going anywhere unless the Knicks provide compensation, money, whatever it is. Now, it'll be interesting to see if they give the Knicks permission. If they give the Knicks permission, what does that tell you about the Mavericks and Jason Kidd? If they really love him and want him to coach Cooper Flagg, wouldn't they deny permission in the first place and say get lost?
Yes.
We'll see how this plays out. But going back to Thibodeau, listen, they had it in for Tom. All the stuff that's been leaked out about his bench, about guys not knowing their roles, about his offense not being creative enough, that's all a bunch of nonsense. They didn't want Tom Thibodeau around anymore. And there are people in the front office worldwide, Wes Wesley, who's looking to get rid of him. And the people have the ear of James Dolan, right? They have the power there, whether it's him. I can't believe that Leon Rose, who goes back a long time with Tom Thibodeau, represented him at one point, friends with Tom Thibodeau. I can't believe that Leon Rose, after they go to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of days after, he's going to sit there and say, we got to fire you. It's got to be a Jim Dolan production with these other snakes in the front office who want Tom out because he doesn't play the players they brought in, or he doesn't listen to them, or he pays them no mind. It's a mess in the Garden once again. That's the way Jim Dolan historically has handled things, except for these last couple of years successfully on the court. It's always been a mess with him and the front office and the people who are looking to undermine their coaches.
He's been the best coach they've had in 30 years.
No doubt. He should have gotten a raise. If I'm the owner of the team and I just went to the Eastern Conference Finals, I won 10 playoff games for the first time since 1999 when they went to the finals and lost to the Spurs. He's not getting fired. I'm telling my front office, guys, you're going to want him fired. I'm giving this guy a raise. He's going to be around for next year. And I thought everything was great in New York. People were celebrating on the streets as if they had won the title. They're putting up street signs for players' names. I saw a thing online where Jim Dolan is handing a basketball out to kids after a great victory, celebrating a victory. Usually people want nothing to do with James Dolan if you're a Knicks fan, because he's bad news in a lot of ways. So it doesn't make any sense at all. Oh. And, you have to feel for Tom, because even though he knew what he was getting into when he worked, because he worked there before, he knows all the stuff that happens in the Garden. Here's a guy who basically just, all right, he's handsomely paid, but here's a guy who gave everything he had to get the Knicks back to relevancy, which they finally accomplished, and this is how they pay him off.
$30 million, though. That's a fantastic golden parachute. There's no better deal in sports.
No question. And listen, I don't know if there's an offset, meaning if he gets another job, that $30 million goes away. But listen, Jim Dolan can afford the $30 million. That's not the issue. Just like, when Phil Jackson years ago and he and Dolan were talking about having a role, all Phil wanted to do was have a role of, I'll be an advisor. I'll take $2 million a year. And then Jim Dolan said, oh, the heck with that. I can give you 5 years, $60 million. What's Phil Jackson supposed to do? Say no to that? So Jim Dolan has a history of overpaying people. That's why when people say to me, why would anybody want to go to the Garden with all this nonsense going in with the front office interfering and all this stuff that's going on, the backstabbing and everything? I say, everybody's got a price, and Jim Dolan will usually meet it and exceed it.
Let me ask you this question, Mitch. You were around it forever.
Right. 21 years.
But have you ever seen anything like it? You talk about backstabbing, and then imagine this guy. What did he possibly do to deserve this? In my opinion, like what they didn't like is demeanor, the way he walks around, the way he talks to people. And it's so funny to me, like the way he overuses players. Oh, shut up. Like Bridges. I just said Bridges. He never misses a game. And all they have to do is pay him $156 million. That's like a blue light special with these other guys in the NBA that never play.
Right. Well, isn't it? Don't we judge people usually in pro sports on the results? The wins and the losses. Here, the wins and the losses obviously don't matter, because if you had the resume of Tom Thibodeau, you mentioned his winning percentage. Look what he's done in terms of getting his team farther and farther into the playoffs, where this year they fell short of their, of the finals. And that's one of the things that I think was working against, you have all these people, the fans, who are just idiots on this stuff. Once they beat Boston, everybody automatically assumed they should beat Indiana. Like Indiana was chopped liver. Indiana last year went into that conference finals. They had a chance to really compete against Boston. Carlisle blew a game that first game, right? Rick Carlisle, the coach, who's now in the finals. Halliburton blew a game. They got swept. But what did they do? They came back with their same team. And for fans this year to think that, you know what, we're just going to take the Pacers apart. And what did they do in the playoffs before that? They knocked Giannis out and Doc Rivers, and then they took a 64-win team out in Cleveland that turned out to be a fraud, right?
Knicks were easy.
That's all they did. Even though the Knicks had the home court, they had the better team and the better coach in this situation, because Rick Carlisle has won a title, and they won the series. And people treat that as if it was a disaster. That's ridiculous.
So what about now, where they've stolen game one in Oak City and they got the home court? What happens from this point forward with the Pacers here? Because they're not afraid of anybody.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Well, I'll tell you what. Part of me thinks that maybe it's just the year where we're going to see a 50-win team beat a 68-win team for the finals. That usually doesn't happen in the NBA. Usually a 68-win team clobbers
You're right.
a 50-win team. Right? That happened. But here's the thing. I think Oklahoma City last night, the way they lost, this could be trouble, because down the stretch of the game, the newly crowned MVP didn't make the big shots. The guy who made the big shot was Halliburton, who's now made 4 in these playoffs, 4 miracle shots. The other thing is they lost a home game. Going into last night, they had played 50 home games this year, regular season playoffs. They were 43-7. Indiana goes in there, rips their, that's like you're ripping their heart out in game one. I'm not saying Oklahoma City's done, but that is a massive, massive defeat when you've gone 8-1 in the playoffs at home, only losing that game to Denver. So now Indiana knows we committed a zillion turnovers, 20 in the first half, 25 overall. We played a terrible game and we still won. We look pretty good for game 2. Oklahoma City's got to look at it as this. Shea didn't deliver. Jalen Williams, newly crowned All-NBA player.
Horrible.
He and Chet Holmgren took 28 shots last night. Between them, they scored 23 points. Totally inefficient. Lousy game. I've never seen a 7-footer like Chet Holmgren blow layups like he does. He doesn't come close. So there's always been the question to me, and I questioned this based off of last year. Always is SGA is not scoring down the stretch. Who can be the number 2 guy? Everybody told me Jalen Williams. Where was he last night? Fourth quarter, late in the game when they had a 3-point lead, he and SGA couldn't score. That's a big problem. This is now, to me, a toss-up series.
You're the best. You're the best.
No, you are.
No, you.
No one is going to pick Indiana. no one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if they go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Mitch is right. Watching Abe Lincoln brick layups, honestly, I play with this 7-footer in the morning, and this guy just dunks it. He doesn't. There's no time for shooting layups. I mean, he just goes in and dunks it. He's 7 foot, and he's like, no one can stop me. I'm gonna dunk in your face. Every time I play with him and I'm on his team, I just throw the ball up in the air. I always tell him when the game starts, I go, I'm just going to throw it up and I need you to just dunk it. And then we're going to win. That's it. I won. Mafia and I played with a dude, 6'8", 250. You remember Mafia, you're 6'5", 250. We used to just throw the ball up to you and this dude and you dunk it. And that'd be the end of it. That's the end of it. Like, we never lost. I had a 6'9" guy. He had 7 blocks a game, 20 rebounds a game. The guy blocked everything. I used to tell him, I'm going to throw the ball up. Just all you need to do is dunk it. And we'll win titles. That's it. This guy Holmgren shooting layups, like trying to do Jimmy kisses. Like, he's a brick. Like, it was embarrassing. Last night, they lost the game because those guys couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. J-Dub, Holmgren, Wallace, blame them. What, are you going to blame Tom Thibodeau?
Everybody does like to blame Tom for just about everything now. Tom's an easy target. Tom's an easy target. All right, let's get to the baseball now because we have a huge night tonight. Lots of games, of course, on a Friday, as we always do.
Dig the long ball.
Couple things from last night first. Yankees beat Cleveland 4-0 at the stadium to take that series 2 out of 3. Cody Bellinger, always a day late and $1 short for the Taters on C2C. 2-run shot on the Yes Network.
Network, so people say, well, they're biased. That one's driven deep to right center field. It has a chance. See ya! A 2-run home run from Bellinger. Yankees on the board. It's 2-0 Bombers.
Yeah, he's never ringing the bell for us, which makes him a failure.
Right, but that's just, there's usually a couple a week that you play them one night and then they homer the next day. And that was that was us for Bellinger there. Yeah. Fried, another great outing. 6 innings, 1 hit, 7 Ks. He's now 8-1 with a 1.78 ERA. Max Fried, excellent start to the year. Yesterday was the yearly rite of passage. The New York baseball writers all cornered Aaron Judge for the yearly, are you going to go in the home run derby question. he made sure that he wasn't going to get any more. Maybe for the foreseeable future. He basically flat out said, I'm not doing the home run derby. He said, if the All-Star game's ever in New York, then yeah, but I ain't doing the home run derby. So you don't got to ask me anymore going forward. So there you go. No Judge in the home run derby this year. And the home run New York's going to get the All-Star game for probably a while. So he ain't going to be doing any home run derbies. What a shame for Aaron Judge. What can you do?
I've had more fun in a
you
dentist
love that
chair
event
than
anyway.
watching that. I think it's
you'd
awful.
watch whoever they put up there in the home run derby. All these Alec Boehm and all these guys that they put in the home run derby.
I hate it. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I'll tell you who's going to be the guy this year that they'll showcase is this Cal Raleigh, because he already said he's going to do it. So Cal Raleigh, it's his year. He's having a huge year. He'll be the guy that they showcase.
We know who he is. Nobody else does. We're fans. You and I are fans. No one else is. No one's ever heard of him. I guarantee you, I will bet any amount of money I could go right now to a gym with 7,000 people in it and say, who's Cal Raleigh? Not one person would tell me who he is. Not
Somebody's got to like the long ball out there. They got to know he's got the most.
Over 7,000 if I did that questionnaire. No one knows who he is. Stop it.
Royals ended up splitting that doubleheader with the Cardinals. They won the night game 7-5.
Did Paglianone hit a homer?
He did not, but
Loser.
he did. He did not hit a homer. But we're gonna try again tonight.
Don't pay for you in golf. You call them all kinds of names. Loser.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You got 100 names for guys that don't cash.
Because I'm giving this kid another shot tonight. Because of they're in the Chicago against the White Sox again. I think
Facing
that's
a righty.
So he's facing a righty. I think that we've got a shot for Caglianone tonight. We shall see. Rays beat the Rangers 4-3. Now I know the Rays won this afternoon already, but it's not very often you have a walk-off hit when you're down a run and the ball never leaves the infield. Well, that did happen for the Rays last night on FanDuel Sportsnet.
And a little ground ball right side. Nobody's covering first. The tying run will score, and the winning run will score. The Rays win it on that ground ball. Aranda scored the tying run, and Cavalero came around to score. Nobody covered first. There was a hesitation out there on the infield.
How do you let that happen?
Now they've moved ahead of Toronto into second in the East.
Yeah, I don't like to see that with that under 80.5 that I have for them. Cubs beat the Nationals 7-1 last night. We did get the bell rung here. Pete Crow Armstrong on Marquee getting him done for us last night.
Pete out to center. Robert Hassel Jr. back at the track, at the wall. It's gone! Dead center. It's Pete Crow All-Star. 16th homer, 2-run shot. It's 2-0 Cubs.
I mean, what are they, like 17 or 22? All they do is win, the Cubs. I got to start betting on them more.
And how about, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit, Cubs in Detroit against the Tigers this weekend. And they're facing Scooble tonight. So let's see them try to bully.
That's the best series in baseball this weekend.
That is Cubs Tigers, and especially with Scooble going tonight against this Cub offense, which has been scoring tons of runs.
Snacks.
That should be fun. Astros beat the Pirates 8-2. Did you see they didn't start the game until like 10:30 at night last night?
10:05.
Did you see them fight on the field before the game? Don Kelly and the general manager.
No.
What's his name for the Astros? The GM over there. I forget the name of the top end. Dana Brown.
I don't want to know.
They were having some powwow before they started the game, and Brown was pointing his finger, and he was mad, and then Kelly started throwing his hands up. They had to push Kelly back to the dugout. I don't know what their problem was. I guess because they didn't start the game so late, I guess.
I didn't even see that.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I just watched it. You sent it to me. I got to tell you, like, that is just a horrific mismatch. Don Kelly is enormous. He's like 6'6", 250, easy. He might be 6'7". And this guy, Brown, is all of about 5'9". I mean, when I saw him arguing, he was literally up to his nipples. Like, he was so small. He was just absolutely towering. Did you see that? There were 10 people there, all the umps, all the executives, and he was literally a head and a half bigger than everyone. He was so enormous. Like, you don't listen. Here's the thing I learned a long time ago because I've been beat up a lot. I've been in a lot of fistfights. Never take on a guy twice your size.
No.
Okay, that's your advice for the day. You think you're tough until some big dude ruins your life. You think you're such a badass. Everyone's a tough guy until they get knocked the F out. Mavia's seen me knocked out at least 7 times.
Yeah,
I'm dirty, but I've been knocked out. Believe me, you got to pick your fights better.
You got to pick your fights better. And it's weird because now I found out, I went and looked after the game, I guess Brown, he's upset that they're starting the game at 10 o'clock at night. He's got the team's playing in Cleveland.
He won the game.
Pittsburgh to Cleveland, come on. I mean, it's a little shuttle. I mean, you'll be there in no time. You're playing in Cleveland. Relax. But he didn't want his team getting in at 3 a.m. He was trying to protect his team. Isn't it the umpires at that point who decide if the game's being played or not?
Kelly's call.
Think that Don Kelly's the guy walking out going, "We're playing this game. Get your team on the field." This isn't
like, what's this little dude pointing his finger at him for? And this guy's looking at him like he was looking down on him like, "Bro, I will F you up."
I like the guy
if there's a little dude, I always tell him, "I will truck you. I will truck you. Shut up."
I guess he was some pirate suit, the guy in the white shirt who just took his hand and he keeps pushing Don Kelly back like, we can't have you knock this general manager out on, out here on the field. We just can't have you.
I kind of like the guy. He's kind of tough. This guy Kelly. He's not afraid of anybody.
He is. He does have some toughness to him. He's bringing a little energy, maybe, to the Pirates. We shall see.
Still don't win.
Now, you said when we left here yesterday, when we got off at 6 East, that the Mets would blow that game to the Dodgers. And sure enough, that is precisely what happened after we left. And it was Michael Conforto on Sportsnet LA who did it.
Situations, and boy, would he love to do it against his old team. He does! Conforto! Sweet release! Dodgers have taken the lead, and it's Michael Conforto that's delivered.
I got to tell you, so 4-0, 5-3 with 2 outs in the 8th, and you lose 6-5, and I had the Mets at plus 121, and that was another juicy, enormous bad beat. I mean, it was awful. I was having dinner, and I looked, and it was 5-3, and then I saw they had 2 guys on base, and I go, they're going to lose. I don't even need to look. They're going to lose. I don't even need to look. I didn't look again for 15 minutes, and sure enough, I looked. 15 minutes later, 6-5. I wanted to barf. Honestly, here's the deal. Learn your lesson, same thing. Don't fight dudes twice your size. Here's another one. Don't try to bet against the Dodgers.
Yeah, you don't want to try bet against the Dodgers. It's very tough. The Giants beat the Padres also when we left the area today. How about Robbie Ray? The Giants are now 11-2 in games started by Ray. He's 7-1 with a 2.43, 78 strikeouts, and 70 innings pitched. Robbie Ray.
He's my Cy Young in the National League, and Freed Chicken is in the American League. And I know everyone gives it to Scooble, but I think what Freed Chicken is doing with the ERA and the 8-1, for me, that's it. So it's a 2-man race, but I'm going to give it to Freed right now. I got to see Scooble. Scooble's dominant, strikes out all these guys. Is his ERA better than Freed Chicken's?
I'd have to look. Freed's probably got him right now, but it's probably close. You know what? He's starting tonight, so when we get to the Detroit game, I'll have his numbers, and I'll see if he's got it as low as him. Manny Machado, home run number 350 in his career. He's the fifth active player to hit that with Stanton, Trout, Goldschmidt, and Freeman.
That's amazing.
That's some big names there. That win by the Diamondbacks yesterday, that was the first time in franchise history they trailed by 6 or more runs going to the 9th, and they won. What a victory for the Diamondbacks.
And they swept.
No, we're not.
Fun?
No, if the Knicks are losing, I'm gonna be miserable.
Be fine.
I'm gonna be miserable. Really? You know what? I'm saying Knicks are winning tomorrow.
Oh,
fuck it. Here we go. Knicks are winning. See that guy? No, that's the wrong guy. See that guy? See him? He's over his assist prop. Jalen Brunson. He's going over his assist prop.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scooble again. Scooble's winning the Cy Young. No shot for Freed.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything. Every single category, Freed is right there with him.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.